Hi guys, welcome to Dental Classes for You. Today we shall discuss certain MCQs from the topic Biostatistics. This would be useful for all those who are preparing for MDS and also for MPH and UGC net questions also. So let's start without any much delay, okay? So Biostats 10 questions will be discussed here. So first question, graph showing relation between two variables is. The options are scatter diagram, frequency polygon, picture chart and histogram. So the graph which shows the relation between two variables is referred to as scatter diagram. Okay. So now let's move on to the next question, that is question number 2. So that is, in a study, following interpretations are obtained: satisfied, very satisfied, dissatisfied, and what kind of scale is this? Since it is showing certain particular order like satisfied, very satisfied, dissatisfied, or for example mild, moderate, severe, like that, then it is usually coming under ordinal. So you remember it like an order there is in ordinal. Okay, so it is answer is option B, ordinal. Okay, now let's move on to the third question, that is histogram is used to present which kind of data? You know histogram. Histogram is a type of bar chart where there is no gaps between the bars. So this type of graph is used to represent continuous data. So histogram is used to represent graphically continuous data without any interval in between. Okay. Now moving on to the fourth question, that is mean, median and mode are. We all know this is a very simple question, but it has been asked frequently, so let's revise. Mean, median and mode are referred to as measures of central tendency. So the answer is option 4, that is measures of central tendency. Okay. Now let's move on to the fifth question, that is degree of freedom for a contingency table with 3 rows and 6 columns is. Whenever a question of degree of freedom in a contingency table is asked, the equation you must remember is degree of freedom is equal to r minus 1 into c minus 1, where r is the number of rows and c is the number of columns. So given there are 3 rows and 6 columns, so it will become 3 minus 1 into 6 minus 1, that is 2 into 5, that is 10. Okay. Now let's move on to the sixth question, that is the correlation between variables a and b in a study was found to be 1.1. This indicates. For this you must know that correlation coefficient, the value ranges from -1 to +1. Anything outside of this range means that there has been some error in computation. So let's see here in the question it is given as 1.1, which is more than 1 and more than the range. So the answer would be option D, that there is a computational mistake in calculating the correlation. Okay. So hope you have understood how to calculate this question. Now let's move on to the next question, that is question number 7. Okay. Receiver operator characteristic curve. ROC curve. ROC curve is abbreviation for receiver operator characteristic curve. And how is it drawn? It is drawn between sensitivity and 1 minus specificity. So that the sensitivity will come in the y-axis and 1 minus specificity will come in the x-axis, and the curve is drawn, and this curve is referred to as receiver operator characteristic curve or ROC curve. So the answer is option C, that is sensitivity and 1 minus specificity. Okay. Now let's move on to the 8th question, that is in a drug trial, a 50-year-old patient with CAD is being interviewed about his dietary and smoking habits. The possible bias that might be introduced here is. See, a 50-year-old patient with CAD, he has already developed CAD and is being interviewed about his past dietary and smoking habits. The most possible error, that is the common error that can occur in such cases, is recall bias, because they may find it difficult to recall the past events. So the answer is option C, that is recall bias. Okay. So whenever people are asked about their past history, there is always chance of recall bias. Now moving on to the 9th question, if 60 values are arranged in ascending order, the middle value is. Whatever be the number of values, when you arrange it in an ascending or descending order, and if you select the middle value, that value is referred to as median. So the answer is median. Now moving on to the last question, that is trends can be best represented by. Trends are usually represented by line diagrams. So trends in time is usually represented by line diagram. So the answer is option C, line diagram. So we have discussed 10 questions today from Biostats. Hope you have found it useful, and do let me know in the comment section whether you would like such sessions more often, or do you have any other suggestions that you would want me to change. So that's all. Thank you.